I'm not willing to admit that I was wrong, so I'm gonna pretend that I love it and that this was the plan.
Well, MAGA, I can't help but wonder how you're holding up. First, Orangine and Pervalicious Felonious Schlumper McPhee told you he doesn't intend to deal with grocery prices because that's too hard. Then he told you trans people are no big deal because there are so few of them. That had to sting. Then you had to deal with the real possibility that you may have elected a shadow president in Elon Doughboy Muskrat, who happens to be an immigrant, and who happens to think y'all are lazy, and who hires immigrant workers for jobs he thinks Americans are too R-word to do.
Now, because this is the part that should keep people up at night. Your unelected shadow president, a billionaire immigrant, calls you lazy, hires foreign workers for his own companies, and you just clap? You cheer for that? He literally thinks you're too stupid to do the jobs he gives to the same people you wanted deported. That's not a secret, that's public record. Tesla, SpaceX, all built on immigrant labor, the same labor you voted to remove. But sure, keep wearing the hat. I'm sure he thinks you're really cool from his rocket ship.
Yeah, that's gotta hurt. Personally, I think the R word is truly awful, and anyone still ignorant and nasty enough to use it, or like opposed to using it, is about as teensy-weensy inside as it gets. But that's your shadow leader. Of course, on top of that, your he never started any wars Orangina seems to be hell-bent on invading several different sovereign nations, which would all greatly benefit Russia, should they be seized and turned over to the guy who just shot an airplane full of innocent people out of the sky. Yeah. How you feeling about your choices, MAGA? I wonder if you've added up the net worth of the proposed cabinet appointments, because sheesh, they sure seem to be swimming in cash, huh? Almost like a swamp. Are y'all feeling good about your gut feeling that billionaires are going to look out for the little guy? In between shopping and plastic surgery, I'm sure they're going to be focused on what the guy making $60K needs to make his day easier. I feel for you, MAGA. Elections have consequences, don't they? I guess it wouldn't surprise me if the truth of the election hasn't reached you yet, but womp womp, it was decidedly not a mandate. Yeah, 1.3 is a squeaker, not a landslide.
Elections have consequences. 4 words that belong on every grocery receipt in America right now. And can we talk about this mandate nonsense? 1.3%. That's not a landslide, that's a rounding error. That's the margin between victory and a coin flip. But they governed like 80% of the country, signed off on gutting every safety net that exists. They didn't, and the ones hurting most, they voted yes to this.
Honestly, MAGA, where do you go from here? You can't argue you're trying to protect the children because your cult leader wants a statutory rapist to lead the DOJ, and the whole party tried to keep the truth from coming out. That situation drives a truck through your defense of the rule of law. As if electing a rapist felon didn't do that already. On top of that, we know most of you disagree with the plan to release all the J6 criminals. How's it going to feel when that happens, MAGA? How will you explain that to your kids? Yes, Jimmy, the man in the video who beat a policeman with a flagpole, broke into the Capitol and pooped on the Capitol floor and threatened to hang the vice president, was sentenced to many years in jail. But the president wanted him to commit those crimes. So instead of going to jail, he's getting a record deal and a low-level job in government. But Jimmy, love thy neighbor and do unto others as you would do unto yourself, okay? Yeah, MAGA, y'all are looking pretty damn hypocritical, and short-sighted, and gullible, and silly. I've got to say, I told you so doesn't cut it. It's really more like I told you, I explained it to you, I made charts and diagrams, I drew pictures, I put it into simple terms, I offered case studies, I begged, pleaded, and I even screamed at you to come to your senses. But nope, liberal tears, y'all love them. Apparently more than your families. So here we are, right where we said we'd be. All thanks to you, MAGA. So all that's left to say is, have the day you deserve. Yeah.
Trump has cut my food stamps from $2,800 down to $350. Now, what am I supposed to do?
From $2,800 to $350. Bro, that's not a budget cut, that's financial amputation. And look, I'm not mocking anyone for needing food stamps. The system should help people. But when you voted for slash government spending, what did you think that meant? Did you think the cuts would only hit other people's benefits? That's not how it works, man. 5 kids at home, benefits gutted by 87%, and now he's done with the guy? Not during the scandals, not during the chaos, but when his check got smaller. Bro, the red flags were there from day one. You just chose to ignore them because the vibes felt right. I'm not judging the struggle. I'm judging the timing.
So I literally just got this piece of mail today saying that due to new policy changes from the Trump administration, all this shit, whatever, that all these cuts and whatever he's doing over there, now they're telling me I have to go work. Now I have to go do all this. Well, I literally got 5 kids. Okay. I'm trying to sit here and spend time with them. I'm not trying to go work, 50, 60 hours a week so I can pay bills. I just really don't understand. I voted for him this last election because I thought what he had good was going on, but now all of a sudden, all this policy stuff's coming out, and now he's making all these cuts, and now he doesn't want to help the less fortunate people no more. I'm done with that guy. I'm not. If he gets voted in again, I'm leaving this country. Because I'm not dealing with this no more.
Millions of Americans can't afford groceries, rent, high-quality health care. Our rights and our freedoms, those are being taken away day after day. MAGA, the Republicans, they're focusing on the issues that matter most. They're focusing on Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. Really? Are we being for real right now? You're upset that Bad Bunny doesn't support President Trump? What, he's not allowed to perform because of that? He doesn't worship Trump? Are you only going to watch the Super Bowl halftime show if it's Ted Nugent?
Ted Nugent halftime show. Just a sweaty dude in camo playing Cat Scratch Fever while 100 million people change the channel. Your grocery bill went up 40% and you're writing paragraphs about a musician not worshiping your president. Your fridge is empty, but you've got energy for a halftime show? Priorities, bro. Culture wars don't cost anything. You just sit on your couch, get mad, type in all caps, and feel like you accomplished something. Meanwhile, your kid's lunch program got defunded.
Oh, you're upset that he doesn't sing in English. Well, maybe just enjoy the music. Music is its own language. And millions of Americans can speak Spanish. So I'm pretty sure this says a lot more about you than it does about Bad Bunny. Oh, you don't like that he doesn't support ICE? Yeah, get over it. He doesn't support the broken immigration system that's occurring right now. Maybe you need to be focusing on issues that actually matter and not issues in regards to who's going to sing at the Super Bowl halftime show. This isn't patriotism. This isn't fighting for the truth. This is pathetic, and it's snowflake politics.
1 in 5 kids in America is already food insecure, meaning they don't know where their next meal comes from. Come November 1st, when SNAP benefits get cut off, it's going to get a lot worse. SNAP benefits mostly help the elderly, children, the disabled, a lot of very vulnerable populations. So I say all this to say, November 1st, 1.4 million Ohioans are going to lose SNAP benefits, meaning 1.4 million Ohioans are going to lose the benefit that makes sure that they have food to eat.
1.4 million people in one state about to lose the ability to feed themselves. In the richest country on earth, 1 in 5 kids was already food insecure before these cuts. We throw away 80 million tons of food annually. Grocery stores lock dumpsters so homeless people can't eat what's being trashed. But yeah, let's gut SNAP. That'll fix everything. Shout out to this woman actually trying to help instead of just screaming into the void. She's out here organizing, sharing resources, doing the real work while politicians play games with people's lives. If you need assistance, findhelp.org. No shame whatsoever.
If you've been wanting to help, if you've been frustrated by the situation in our country, if you want to make your community better and you are able to, now is a perfect time in a very real way to be able to impact someone's life and make sure that people have food on their table through the month of November and beyond for however long this government shutdown continues and however long Donald Trump decides to withhold food from American people. First of all, if you need food assistance, if you need help putting food on your table, I just want to say there's no shame in that. There's no shame in needing help or asking for help. Our system is so broken. Number 2, if you are someone who cares greatly, but doesn't have any extra time, doesn't have any extra money, can't afford to give any type of food aid, that is okay too. There's no shame in that. You can do really impactful things by sharing information, sharing accounts that are giving out accurate information, and sharing ways that other people who do have the resources could help. And if you are in the group of people who either have time, money, or both to give, there's so many ways right now to get involved. Please look at how you can either volunteer at your local food bank or give to your local food bank. If you don't know what to give, cash goes a long way. They can get more with cash than we can because they buy in bulk and stuff like that. So right now, if this is weighing on you, if you want to help your community, if you want to make sure kids in your area, adults in your area are going to have meals the month of November, please, I'm just kind of reaching out to you and saying, don't hesitate. Right now is a great time to get involved. If you haven't, if you're already helping, thank you so much. For those that maybe need the extra help, I just want to say findhelp.org is the place to go if you don't know where, if you're about to be one of those people who maybe doesn't know how they're going to get food on their table. Findhelp.org is the way to go. So we are going to be doing everything we can to help our communities, and we encourage you guys to do the same.
Trump has just announced that he's taking $10 billion of our taxpayer money from the IRS and transferring it into his own personal bank account. And there's nothing we can do about it. As a private citizen, he is suing the IRS. And as president, he's deciding they're going to pay. All because a former contractor leaked his tax returns 10 years ago. And the lawsuit includes his dimwit sons, Eric and Don Jr. He claims the IRS caused him personal embarrassment. I'm pretty sure his spray tan and comb over did that years ago. These tax returns, they showed that he only paid $750 in income tax in 2016 and 2017. Trump is suing his own administration.
So the president is suing the government while being the government. He's suing himself and making U.S. pay for it. $10 billion. Because someone leaked that he paid $750 in taxes. I pay more on my lunch. And he's not embarrassed about paying that little. He's embarrassed people found out. That's like robbing a bank and suing the security cameras for invasion of privacy. She's right to be furious about this. And Congress? Silence. But God forbid someone buys name brand cereal with food stamps, then they've got opinions.
He's just going to walk away with the money. There's nothing we can do about it. No one is going to stop him. The Republicans in charge, they're not going to do a damn thing. I mean, this is outrageous. He's just saying, I want the money and I'm going in and I'm taking it. Our tax dollars, our money. He's just going into the IRS and to the Treasury Department and he's taking it.
I just went out and I saw a guy in a MAGA hat ordering tacos at a food truck. Get that fucking food out of your mouth.
Okay, if we want to put rules on people based off their beliefs, then anyone that has ever said no one is illegal on stolen land, please make sure that you never own property, and if you do, give it back to the original tribe. And also, if you've ever said defund the police, if you're in danger, please don't call the police, please figure it out. Oh, and then the believers of socialism. Make sure that you are only taking enough of your income that you need, and then everything else you give back to your community so you achieve this thing called equity. And any of the believers of communism, anything that you own or have, you must share it equally with everybody else.
I'm broke as hell. I don't work. I get food stamps. I'm 23 and a stay-at-home mom of 4.
I'm not going in on her. The system lets people do this. If you qualify, you qualify. But every time a video like this goes viral, some congressman uses it as evidence to slash benefits for the grandma who actually needs them. For every person doing this, there's 100 using the program exactly as intended. One TikTok gives politicians all the ammo they need to justify starving children. Be mad at the right people.
Let's go spend my food stamps at grocery outlet and get some snacks, because why not? Okay, I'm looking for snacks and just random BS that I've never had before. So, for this time, let's go. Yo, I'm so dumb. Why am I passing stuffing right now? And why I thought that stuffing only comes out during Thanksgiving? Let's keep shopping.
So I just saw a video. I'm not going to stitch it, nor I'm going to tag the person. I just don't have the energy to deal with that right now. But it's a young woman, apparently a mom, lives in North Dakota, and she is outraged over her recent grocery shop, and she's waving her receipt, and she's like, purchased groceries, it was over $700, and she's just outraged, and her point is, let's make America great again. And of course a couple of people in the comments are like, oh yeah, this is why Trump's going to be great, he's going to bring prices down. But then you start to see a couple of other comments, people are like, well, what did you buy? And was this for a week's worth of groceries, or was this for a month? How many people are in your house? Did you buy name brand, or did you buy store brand? What did you buy? And so she jumps onto a follow-up video, and she tries to justify it, and she's just like, you could see, here's my receipt, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, look at the cranberry juice here, 3 bottles, it was over 20 some odd dollars. Well, you look at her receipt, and she bought Lakewood organic cranberry juice.
Look, buy what you want, treat yourself, life's short, but you cannot grab the most expensive version of everything in the store and then wave your receipt on camera like it's a political statement. That's like ordering Wagyu at a 5-star restaurant and calling your congressman about the bill. Grocery prices are up, that's real, nobody's denying it. But bro, your artisanal cranberry juice is not Exhibit A, it's Exhibit Ridiculous. Context matters, and this dude left all of it out.
Okay, yeah, that's fucking expensive. That's expensive shit. So yeah, of course, if you're buying name brandy things and expensive things, then yeah, it's all going to add up. And if that's the juice you like, you get to buy it. Absolutely. If that's the juice you want your family to have, enjoy it. But if you're going to go to the store and buy some things that are really high priced, organic or special quality or super name brand or whatever you want to buy, and then you're going to go into a video and claim, this is the Democrats' America, this is why we got to make America great again. No. Context matters, by the way. So, again, videos need to have the full details, and even then, like I said, she went with her second video to try to justify herself, but it was, no, you can literally look at a receipt and you can be like, oh, I see, that's another thing you purchased that you could have probably bought the store brand and you would have paid a hell of a lot less. So again, buy what you want to buy, enjoy what you want to enjoy, but don't try to make it sound like this is the fault of the current administration. No. And I assure you, miss, your Lakewood cranberry organic juice is not going to drop in price after President Trump comes back in the office. It is absolutely not. And before I forget...
Bro, I just spent $8 on a damn tomato. A tomato. Why the hell is food so expensive now? Well, let's see. Farms don't have workers, crops aren't getting picked, supply is down, and prices go up. What do you mean farms don't have workers? I mean 70% of farm workers were foreign-born, a huge chunk undocumented. And now, they're gone. Either deported or too scared to show up. Well, maybe if they came here legally, yeah? And how do they do that, Randy? Do you know how long it takes? A few months? Try years. Even farm worker visas have massive backlogs, and that's even if they qualify. Meanwhile, farmers needed those workers yesterday. Why didn't Biden fix it? You're joking, right? Biden tried to speed it up so more workers could come in the right way, but people freaked out, so Donnie Doofus scrapped it. So what, now we're just out of food? Not out, just more expensive. Farms can't harvest without workers, so crops rot in the fields, supply drops, and prices spike. And that's before you even factor in transportation costs. Can't they just hire Americans? Yeah, for about triple the pay, which means that tomato would have cost you $15 instead of $8. What about machines? Can't we just automate it? Randy, those machines are millions of dollars each. Plus, you think a machine can gently pick a ripe strawberry without crushing it? This is insane. So what's the plan? There isn't one. Just higher grocery bills, fewer farms staying open, and maybe in a few years, imported food costing even more.
Here's the conversation nobody wants to have. You deported the workforce and you're shocked food costs more? 70% of farm workers were foreign-born. 70. You knew it, farmers knew it, the government knew it. But build the wall sounds better at a rally than maintain a functional agricultural labor pipeline. Now crops are literally rotting in fields. Not because there's no food, there's nobody to pick it. Randy's paying $8 for a tomato wondering what happened. What happened is you voted for vibes instead of policy, and math doesn't care about your bumper sticker.
So you're saying I should have bought a greenhouse? No, Randy. I'm saying you should have voted like you actually live in this country.
We have some pretty big news right now. Donald Trump's own voters are turning on him when it comes to affordability and blame him at increased rates for the cost of living in the United States of America. New polling that's been released by Politico shows that 37% of those who voted for Donald Trump in 2024 say that the cost of living in the United States of America is at its worst than it's ever been before. And a good chunk of those blame the current president of the United States for the fact that affordability is just not affordable. It's a very interesting shift, but it's a very dangerous one politically for the Republican Party because heading into 2026, affordability is at the top of the ticket. Even if Donald Trump's name isn't there, his policies are. And while he calls affordability a, quote, Democrat con job, but his own voters seemingly don't agree. And if even just 15% of Trump voters vote blue in 2026, that would represent a massive leftward shift nationwide. We'll see what happens next. As always, spread the word. Subscribe to my Substack, link in bio to support. Follow along for all.
Full circle. The personal responsibility crowd can't handle the consequences of their own vote. The facts don't care about your feelings, gang, is big in their feelings because the grocery bill doesn't lie. I don't enjoy watching people struggle. Nobody should choose between feeding their kids and paying rent. But when you vote against your own interests, mock everyone who warned you, then act shocked when it backfires. The sympathy runs dry. Here's my challenge. If you're struggling, I'm not your enemy. The people who lied to you are. And if you're still defending the chaos, bookmark this video. Come back in 6 months. Let's compare grocery bills. Drop a comment, share this with someone who still doesn't get it. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time because we are just getting started.